things about the street lighting. Yes, it is by a lot of people asked us last year why we could not have the Edison bill for the street lights just put on your residential property. You cannot do it by state law and by county law. It's just it's not allowed. It has to be billed through a public agency. If a city or a special district has to have the bill sent to them.
Well, it's always been a purpose and power of the RCSD.
Yes, it's been, because that's the only way you could get streetlights in this community, was to be able to collect some money to pay for the streetlights. Otherwise, there's no mechanism in the law to allow for the collection of money. Edison cannot bill each homeowner direct for the cost of streetlights. They can't do that. And that came right out of Edison's mouth last year when they talked about it. So essentially what happens is, all the streetlights in this community, they send an SCE bill to Rosamond Community Services District, and then we pay that bill. And right now, there is not enough money coming in to pay that Edison bill. So we had to get a street light and landscape district, but it's only for street lighting. It's not for landscaping, but that's what it's called. And the fees are going to, there's so many different zones. It's based upon your where you live, how many houses there are, how many streetlights there are, and split the cost of those among the houses. My particular house, I just got mine. I think it's going to be after the first year. The first year is going to have some administrative costs in it, and it's going to, so it's a little bit higher, but the second year is what it's going to be per year after that. And mine, I believe, is going to be $17 a year for the street lighting. And most of the homes are going to be about in that ballpark. I know Dr. Shear on his street over here, I think his is going to drop down to about $8 a year per unit. So, unfortunately, that's the only way we can collect it, and the County of Kern requires us that it has to be put on the property tax. You can't no longer direct bill for the streetlights, on your water bill. It has to be collected through the county taxes. And it's just like any other thing. We already have 5 housing tracts in this community that are already in a street lighting district, and they've been there since 2007. So they've been paying all along, and it's just, so that's, hopefully it clears up some of the questions about the street lighting. Any other questions on that?
Well, the big question last year was raising it from $1 to $80.
You're right.
And I don't hear those numbers anymore, 1 to 80, and I don't hear a real clear number tonight. I hear the third year clear number, but what's the administrative costs in the first and second year?
I think my first year is going to be $30 for the first year. And
okay.
That's the maximum it can be. The second year in 2015 is going to drop down to 17. And then the most it can go up, it can never go above that $30 without another vote. And so what it does is that it goes from the cost of living raise, that's on the consumer price index, that's all it can go up per year. Another thing too, when you see in the ballots.
Well, I guess one of the questions I thought, why don't you just be direct? We need streetlights in Rosamond Boulevard, we need them on Sarah Highway. At $1 a year per customer, you have enough money to cover those. Is that right?
Yes, we do.
And why not let the homeowners take over their areas on their own? If they want streetlights, they can have them. If they don't want streetlights, they don't have to have them.
Good point.
And
that's exactly what the ballot is. See, here's another thing too. RCSD is not raising the streetlights. We're not putting this on your property tax bill. You guys are being sent ballots, every homeowner, to make just that decision.
Well, the problem for you though is don't 3 out of the 5 of you have to agree to vote to put it on the ballot for us to vote? I mean, last time we walked up there and 3 out of 5 said, no, we don't want to have the election, so it never happened. But
Because
don't you feel
because
that-
everybody that was there, we all know that there was a lot of confusion, there was a lot of misinformation, there was a lot of, just people didn't understand. There was a lot of legalese that was written in, so people just didn't really understand what they were voting for. It's already been decided to send it out to the people. The people, you're getting your ballots in the mail. You put yes or no. And what happens is, you live in a community that has 140 homes. If 71 of those vote yes, the street lights stay on there. If 71 of you vote no, then the street lights get turned off in that neighborhood only, because that's what the people voted for, the majority of the people.
So you're saying each of those zones will have their own
Yeah,
vote?
And if they vote to turn it off, and then on their own, without having any government involved, if someone wants to put a light up on the corner of his house, he can do that, right?
Yeah, if you want to put a light up in the corner of your house, you can do that. But what I'm saying is, and by law, Edison, now this is where another big thing that people got upset about. By law, that Edison is required by the PUC that if the bill is not paid and they shut the lights off, they are required within a certain amount of time to come in and remove the poles and take the lights down. So,
And who eats the cost of that?
huh?
Who eats the cost of
Edison does. Because the poles belong to Edison. Edison belongs to them, they maintain the poles, the electricity, everything belongs to Edison. All the RCSD is on this is just the middle guy that collects the money so we can pay the Edison bill. And right now we are in the red, and by June we're going to be about $60,000 in the hole. So we can't keep subsidizing this anymore.
By the history, you have about $175,000 of discretionary money every year that comes in,
Yes, we do.
and you'd have to spend about $20,000 of that discretionary money every year if you wanted to keep the bill paid. Is that true?
Yeah, and right now that discretionary money is being used up in other areas. I don't have the numbers in front of me and to answer those questions right now, but you
How
know,
much money did we pay the engineers for the failed detect last year?
I don't have that numbers in front of me.
We did have to pay them though, right?
Of course we did,
And
but
we
we also
paid them
got,
more than $20,000, right?
well, I don't know what we paid them a lot. I mean, you're putting me on the spot.
I know, but
I
I
don't-
appreciate you showing up, and I don't mean to shoot you down, but maybe could
you
you...
know, and I'm trying to answer your questions as honestly as possible and to try to clear up any misnomers. The thing is that it's up to the community on the streetlights. It's not up to RCSD. And, you know, me personally, I don't care if the people vote to keep their lights on or keep their lights off. It doesn't matter. That's your decision. You guys make that decision on your own. You decide for your own neighborhoods. I think it's best to keep the lights on. I mean, it's from a crime standpoint. The more streetlights you have, the safer it keeps your neighborhood.
But you-
So
but
we are getting geared up for this new year. We've had one meeting, and we are looking into looking for helping RCSD look for a home for the new skate park. There's one area we've been looking at is a retention basin that we can maybe we can find the funds to gunite it and put the ramps down on the side there. It's just one of the ideas we're kicking around. You know, we definitely will find a home for the skate park. We just don't know where yet, but we are looking and exploring all of our options.
Now, one of the advantages we had before with being on high school property is it's right where the kids can be seen, law enforcement can see them, the CHP can see them, the sheriff's department can see them, they're right across from the taco.
Right.
School personnel can see them.
Well-
Do you have any acres like that that RCSD can offer?
Well, see, that's just it, Olaf. You know, we're like I said earlier, Steve is talking with Jeff about it to find another location. But we're in no hurry to move the skate park. We like it where it's at. And you're right, that is a great location for it. And the longer we can keep it there, the better. But we know the reality is that we're not going to be able to keep it there forever. The school district is going to want that site for their future expansion, and we respect that. So we know that we're going to have to find a home. So rather than wait till we got our backs up against the wall, we're trying to find that home now, and so we can have a smooth transition.